Welcome to Backroom Talk.
We're going to talk about some fake questions and real answers related to aerobics.
If I do aerobic work, will I lose my strength gains?
No.
No?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
So will minimalist shoes fix my running technique? I threw this one out there. That's my question.
This one's good.
To listen to more Backroom Talk, be sure to subscribe. Learn to design personalized programs with the OPEX system of coaching by heading to opexfit.com.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Backroom Talk. I'm Georgia here with Carl. We're back on video, baby.
I was just going to ask, I was like, is this thing on?
Yeah, we're recording. We took a little video hiatus for a minute, but now we're back on the old YouTube.
Yeah, we're like, we got tired of not seeing ourselves, so we're like, let's see ourselves.
Exactly. The world really missed these smiling faces. If you're on audio, guys, we do have a YouTube channel, so head to OPEX Fitness on YouTube. You can watch us chit-chat there instead of just passively listening to us as you drive your car. Well, I guess if you're driving your car, you should probably just do audio.
Unless you have a Tesla, just double-click the right stalk and it's going to autopilot. Or if you're full self-driving beta, just put in full self-driving. Put your phone up and watch us while your car drives itself.
I don't know that Tesla life yet. One day.
You need to get one.
A girl can dream.
Yeah, you need to get one.
Well, today
I'm going to buy you a Tesla for Christmas, Georgia.
Thanks. Employee of the year,
Yes,
clearly.
yes.
Awesome. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm getting a toy Tesla like your kids have, right?
All right.
So we're doing some Q&A.
Yes. Fake Q&A.
Yeah.
So I can't lie to the people.
Yeah, tell the people what's up.
we stole this, or I stole this. I guess we stole this because we're doing it together.
Yeah.
From Colin Cowherd. So Fox Sports analyst, used to be with ESPN. He has a segment. It's called Fake Questions, Real Answers. The things that I wish people would have asked me. And he just goes through some interesting, timely, relevant sports Q&A that no one actually asked him, but in his brain, he's like, I want to answer these questions. So we kind of stole that. Or not kind of. We actually stole that because it's a great idea. Thank you, Colin. I don't know if Colin listens to Backroom Talk.
Why would he not listen to Backroom Talk?
I'll send him this thing. But yeah, I thought it was a good idea. And we're going to talk about some fake questions and real answers related to aerobics.
Yeah. Do you reckon we can answer any of these questions without saying it depends?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. If either of us say it depends, we have to buy the other a Tesla. So you may have two Teslas at the end of this conversation.
Yes. All right. Let's roll.
Okay.
We're going to rapid fire these, by the way.
This is fast.
Yeah, so our goal is to not do what we usually do and spend 30 minutes on one thought. So we want to get through these things as helpful as possible. And not broad stroke it too much, but we're gonna rapid fire these things.
Yeah, man, this is like stuff my mom would ask me. You know, these are questions my mom would come to me with. Like, I go to a dinner party and someone that I just met would ask them to me because they know I'm a fitness coach. And
sorry, I'm like picturing your mom asking you like question 5. I'm like, oh, that's a good question.
No,
Mrs. Smith.
For sure. But seriously, like, we want to make sure you've got concise answers to be able to shoot off your own answers to people when they come to you with these. So we'll do our very best to be concise.
Let's do it.
So question number 1. If I do aerobic work, will I lose my strength gains?
No.
No?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
How much aerobic work can you do without losing your strength gains?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
No, it's a good question. And yes, obviously you can lose strength gains by doing too much aerobic work or improper aerobic work or aerobic work that you cannot recover from, right? So this question, if I do aerobic work, will I lose my strength gains? Can't say it, but you know what I'm thinking.
I know what you're thinking.
Can't say it though. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So let's think about this for a second, right? So let's say that you have a client and your client wants to run a half marathon in 5 months, right? And you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to download this training program off of Google. It says that we're going to run 4 times a week, and we're going to have a low day, a medium day, a long day, and then we're going to do a fast day, right? Because we need to train anaerobically as well. So there's 3 aerobic days, 1 anaerobic. And you're also like, oh, but I want this person to also get stronger. right? So you're like, okay, we have 2 days to play with, so we're going to do some full body resistance, and we're going to train. This is going to be an intensification cycle, right? 3 to 6 reps. That's like the golden spot. That's where we get strong. And your client might be 6 weeks in, and they're like, I'm getting weaker. It's like aerobic work is ruining my gains. It's like, yes, because you need to think about what you're doing in aerobics. You need to think about how that marries well or not with what you're doing in resistance. So with an example like that, right, someone that's running 3 or 4 times a week and also doing a lot of intensity, they're running long distances 3 to 4 times a week, and then they're doing a lot of intensity in resistance. They're not going to have the ability to recover enough to get stronger. If they're a complete novice and they've never done anything in their life, yes, they're going to get stronger for an amount of time. But once their body adapts, they may stay the same, hit a plateau, or even get weaker or get injured, right? If you're injured, you're probably not going to get stronger during that time that you're down. So if we took that client and we're like, yep, goal was to get stronger, versus a client and we're like, okay, we're going through this intensification phase, but I also want to sprinkle in some MAP 10, right? Long, slow recovery aerobic work where the person is just breathing a little bit and sweating. You can recover from it an hour after you're done. It's like, yes, you're definitely going to recover the next day when you're hitting heavy squats, deadlifts, bench press, and you can get stronger over a period of time with doing aerobic work every single day. It just depends on what you're doing in that aerobic work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, going for a walk is aerobic work. It's very different than doing some assault bike intervals.
Exactly.
And the implement will make a difference as well. I know there's some like interesting research on, I think, like running versus biking and what that means for like quad hypertrophy and strength, correct?
Yeah. I mean, even without the research, it makes sense, right? You're like, how does it feel when I go on a bike erg and I'm going at like a 5.5 damper and I'm holding like 80% of my max effort for 15 minutes? That shit is tiring, right? Like that, you feel it in your quads. If you got off that thing and you're like, okay, now hit some heavy back squats, I'm like, hey, I need a minute. My quads are full of blood, versus doing the same thing on a ski erg, right? So it just depends on what you're doing. So yes, damn it. I just I was short that
He
Tesla.
said it depends.
Oh man.
You've promised me a Tesla twice now.
But in all fairness, I didn't end the statement with it depends and then like I'm out. I just meant like, oh damn it, I can't walk away from this one. All right, 2 Teslas.
Moving on.
Two Teslas.
Should
Give
we
one to
move
Jacob.
on? There we go. That's okay. I can't just have a Tesla. That would be unfair.
All right, let's move on to question number 2.
Okay. Do I need to consume a lot of carbohydrate if I do aerobic work?
What's your take on this?
So I'm not going to say the words, but no, you don't necessarily need to eat a lot of carbohydrate if you're doing aerobic work.
Yep.
I have clients who regularly go on walks, do long, slow, even do some faster aerobic work, but they're not pushing for max potential. They're not doing like intense endurance events. They're not training to run a marathon at a PR time. They're not like really digging deep where they're going like from aerobic almost into that like unsustainable pacing. Their work stays very sustainable. They're, doing 2 to 3 days of aerobic work per week, plus going for walks on those other days. And they just have like general health, vitality, maybe some weight loss goals. For those people, do they need to eat a lot of carbohydrates? No. They could eat a fairly low carb diet so long as they're getting adequate fiber, so long as they're getting adequate micronutrients. They don't necessarily need a lot of carbs for feeling really good, looking good, and all those things. On the flip side, if I have a client who is training for an endurance event and they are really pushing capacity, if they're really trying to improve their pacing for, a 500-meter row, yeah, they're going to need to eat some carbohydrates.
Yep. Intensity and volume. That really matters. So very, very high intense aerobic work. What are you depleting, right? You're depleting sugars. When your body depletes sugars, what does it quote unquote need more of? You can definitely deplete all of your sugars and never give those back, right, to the system. But anyone that's ever tried that over a long period of time, you don't feel that good, right? You don't feel that good. You have the brain fog. Performance might decrease a little bit. So in terms of intensity, so I'm like, I can't talk because I'm trying to think of like not saying it depends. So I'm like buffering.
Okay, we'll
you know when
leave
when you turn on YouTube and there's like that little like buffer line right in front of where you currently are. That's happening in my brain. I like it though. I think it's making me more intelligent. I'm seeing into the future. No, but on the intensity piece, yeah, if you go really intense in any kind of work, you're burning through glycogen. If you're burning through glycogen, you're going to need to replace it. So I almost said it. Did you catch me there? So you have to consider how intense you're going and how often you're going that intense. On the other side, it's volume. So if you're someone that is an ultra marathoner, what are you burning through? You're also burning through glycogen stores. And I'm saying you're an ultra marathoner, so the pace in which you're attacking that ultra marathon is one that's fairly fast. And you might hit this point in time where there's like a hill that you need to climb. So that's where I call absolute bullshit when someone says like, I actually perform better with no sugars in me, right? Endurance athletes. It's like, what does performing better mean, right? What are the circumstances? Are you performing better at the 5-minute mark, the 20-minute mark, the 5-hour mark? If you're going long, there's going to come a point in time where either you run out of sugars or you need sugars to accomplish something. So like that hill's in front of you. So it's like, I need to attack that hill at a high effort to continue the pace that I'm currently at. You're going to dive into some glycogen stores there.
For sure. So how do we know if we're that person that needs to eat a lot of carbohydrates? How's your energy? How's your performance? Are you like hitting a wall partway through your work and you're unable to keep going? Those are all going to be some indications, as well as obviously looking at blood work and what's happening under the hood. Sleep as well.
Sleep's a big one, right? So someone that's on E, they're going to have sleep disruption. It's you wake up in the middle of the night and you have an elevated heart rate, right? That's a sign that your body is depleted of glycogen or sugar stores. You lay down, you're really tired, but you're like wired a little bit, right? It's like your body's lacking dopamine, your body's lacking serotonin. Your body doesn't have those sugar stores to put you into that position to be able to rest, to get to that restful state. So yeah, like you said, energy, what type of work you're doing, think about that. Think about how you feel while doing that work. If you're on let's say you're on an assault bike and you're going at a slow pace and there's something inside of you that's like, go faster, go faster, go faster. And it almost feels like it's almost harder to go slow. You're probably a sugar burner, right? So you might be eating too many sugars if the goal is to be more aerobic and be able to sustain a low pace across a longer period of time. I remember when I did a lot of CrossFit, I was that person where I'd like do like a 60-minute bike and I'm like, I'm at 58 RPM. This would feel better if I was at 62 because I wanted to burn sugar because my body was like, get into that state. That's where you're living. Yeah, I'm going to end it there because I could keep going and I promise that these would be rapid fire.
So let's go number 3. Will I burn more calories if I run fasted?
No.
And why does it matter?
Yeah.
I mean, there are for some people, preparing for not a tournament, to step on stage and a competition, a bodybuilding competition. You hear a lot about fasted cardio because it makes a difference, right? Like the calories and minutiae of it, like are going to make a difference for that person, possibly. But for other people, does it really matter? Are there other considerations we should have in place if we're worried about burning calories?
Yeah, but I mean, in reality, you don't actually burn more calories if you do that thing fasted. Where that comes into play is it's your schedule, it's your routine, right? Like if you laid out the schedule and routine of someone that does their AM cardio fasted, it's almost like intermittent fasting, right? Let's say they wake up at 5, they're in the gym by 7, they're home and they're showered by 9. They didn't have an opportunity to eat from 5 to 9, whereas if they were training cardio in the PM, they may have eaten at 7, right? So they just got a 2-hour jump on, the amount of time in that day that they're consuming calories. But another thing we have to think about is, can someone perform better, quote unquote, when they're fasted? So me, I feel better when I train fasted. I don't do it for any reason, but I just feel really good. I have more energy. So my output might actually be more because I'm training fasted. So technically, if I did cardio fasted and I did it at a higher intensity where I could go longer because I felt better, yeah, I guess technically I'm burning more calories, but that's not a result of me being fasted. That's a result of secondarily me moving faster, using more intensity in that thing because I'm fasted, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And I think it's a great example of bro science and why we need to consider what the reason for the outcome is. And it's not necessarily the fasted cardio. It's just the ability to feel better and do a little bit more work.
Yep.
Question 4.
Will I burn more calories doing aerobics over strength training? So will I burn more calories doing aerobic work than I would if I were to do strength training? Yes.
Yeah. We got to look at the time window though, right? That's where it gets interesting.
1-to-1.
1-to-1, like in the 1 hour you're in the gym, then definitely you're going to burn more work doing the aerobic work. Unless you're doing like a really slow walk, then possibly if you're doing some tough resistance training, you're going to burn some more calories doing that. But you're doing a moderate to hard effort on either thing. Yeah, for sure. In that time period, you're going to burn more calories doing the aerobic work. What happens if we look out, 24 hours?
Oh, you didn't need to ask me that. It was just a quick yes or no.
I know.
It all evens out, right? It doesn't really matter. Like the metabolic effect of, doing a bunch of bicep curls for 30 minutes is less than that of doing assault bike intervals at a higher rate for those same 30 minutes. But the recovery and everything that happens from a physiological standpoint of recovering and repairing muscle tissue that has a higher metabolic effect than me recovering from those assault bike intervals. So during that 30 or 60 minutes, yes, I'm burning more calories while I'm doing those aerobics, clearly because my heart rate was 165 for 30 minutes straight, right? Like there's sweat all over the place. Like that was challenging, but I'm going to recover pretty effectively from that versus doing some bicep curls and some goblet squats, right? But as my musculature has to repair over time, what happens? I'm burning calories as that occurs, right? I'm putting on more muscle. If I'm putting on more muscle, that means that my body or my metabolic rate then increases to support that muscle. So at the end of the day, I think it's an overthought question, right? It's like, yes, you do, but it all evens out eventually.
Yeah, I hope we're at the point where people are not skipping strength training because they're trying to lose weight. Like I think
we're definitely at that point.
We're over that, right? Society's over that.
No.
Well, they're still in that world.
Yeah, we live in a bubble, Georgia. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go to a commercial gym, right? It's like you see the aerobics rooms just packed, right? And you see people, or you have all the machines that you want on the in the resistance area. Yeah, I think I think it's obvious why though. It's the feeling that you get when you do it, right? Like the feeling that you get when you're doing like some pretty challenging aerobic work for an extended period of time, and like the pile of sweat that you see underneath you. I mean, it's almost common sense to think like, yes, that was actually more challenging, or I'm burning more calories doing that than I would if I was over here with my headphones on the Smith machine. So I don't think we're out of it.
That's fair. Well, should we get to question number 5?
Yeah, last one. We are rolling.
We're crushing this, guys.
It's late here,
Let's
too.
Give ourselves a pat on the back. So will minimalist shoes fix my running technique? I threw this one out there. That's my question.
This one's good.
But no, seriously.
Answer that, yeah.
There was a period of time where it was like if I wear the barefoot shoes or I run barefoot or I go that real like low profile minimalist shoe, it's like actually going to make a difference for how I run and my knee pain and my ankle pain and all these other things. But no, just putting something on your feet and running isn't going to make a difference. It actually could make a negative difference in the short term if you haven't done the work to build up like your foot musculature and have the strength in your feet and in your toes and in your ankles to actually earn the right to wear a minimalist style running shoe. For sure, some people can run with shoes like that and have great mechanics. But again, they've put the time into strengthening their feet, especially if they were wearing highly padded, supportive shoes prior. And they've worked on their running techniques separate from just lacing up a new pair of shoes.
Yeah, I would just ask someone, why the hell do you need to work on your running technique, right? Like if someone came to me and they were like, I need to refine my running technique, I'm going to guess that it has something to do with performing better at something when it comes to running, like whatever their event is. And if it's someone that's like, you know, I run a 200 or I run a 400 or something like that, it's like, yes, wear as minimal as possible because you need to be light and that sprint is done. If we're talking about long distance running and they're like, I need to improve my technique because I want to perform better in a 5K, I'd just like Google best 5K runners in the entire world, Google image that, and I would like look at their shoes. And you know how many people we would see with Vibram 5 fingers? Absolutely no one, right? So I'd be like, why do you need to do that? And you said it might take you the other way. It absolutely will take you the other way. I don't know if you were if you saw this happening around you or if you were a part of this, but in 2009, 10, 11, 12, that was all the rage. I remember everyone getting the Vibrams, and not even the 5 fingers, those people we just made fun of, but even like the lower profile Vibrams, and New Balance started doing it with the Minimalist, and they had like the thing you pulled out and it was like, this is your training protocol to wear these safely. And people would like go through the 3-week training protocol and they're like still have plantar fasciitis. It's like, you've been running like that for 33 years. You think 3 weeks is going to make a big difference? It's like, do that for 3 years, 5 years, that same thing that they told you to do on that paper, and then start wearing those things. And so many people were down and out with plantar fasciitis, calf injuries, Achilles injuries, knee pain, hip pain. I was in the Army during that time, so it was really big, and we did a lot of long runs, and we had a lot of hacker bro, like physical hacker bros, on post there, and there were so many people running around in those things. And then I was in the medical field there, and I'd see those same people walk in with like, I have this thing. It's like, why do you think you have this thing? It's like, well, I'm like, I'm running 15 miles on Friday and I'm doing it in these Vibrams, and it's like, yeah, stop doing that, dude. Put on some running shoes.
I think that answers that one.
Yeah.
So those were our rapid fire questions. That was fun.
I know. Let me ask another question. I'm a 37-year-old female, and I want to run a half marathon in 5 months. How are you going to get me there, Georgia?
Well, I have an answer for you, Carl. We actually recorded a fantastic video and program design breakdown for that very same avatar.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's now available for you to listen to, Carl, if you'd like to listen to yourself and to me.
Yeah, I would.
Go through that inside of LearnRx, which is our amazing learning platform. Lots of really cool video content inside of there. But really, guys, we did actually just right before recording this, go through a full program breakdown. We went through avatar details. We went through the long-term, 23-week half marathon training progression, broke down those short-term plans and the splits, and then actually dug into the design as well. And that video is sitting there for you inside of LearnRx. I'm going to pop a link into the description of this episode so that you guys can go there, click the link, check it out. You'll be able to sign up for LearnRx and access that video. Anything you would like to say about it, Carl?
No. Thank you, Georgia, for putting that together. That was one of Georgia's real-life clients. So, yeah, it was fun kind of doing the backroom conversation before the backroom conversation on what you laid out there. And yeah, that was good. So thank you for proposing that and putting that in.
Absolutely. We're going to do this more often, guys. So we'll have this backroom talk episode that is available for you to listen to on YouTube, for you to be able to listen to on all your podcast platforms. But we're going to follow it up with some more in-depth, really rigorous education material that you can look at on site of LearnRx. So we're putting a lot of energy and love into that thing to help you guys be more effective coaches, do a better job at program design, and just kind of get inside of our brains and how we think about that programming and that coaching process. So please go ahead, check out that LearnRx video we did put together. We do hope you enjoy it. We'd love some feedback as well. Leave us a review, subscribe, make sure you reach out and let us know how you enjoyed this episode. I had a fun time doing the questions.
That was good. We need to start saying, hit that bell notification.
Hit that bell notification.
Yeah. Or maybe not for when we put in exercise.
Swipe left, swipe right. I don't think they get to swipe, right? You guys don't get to swipe on this one. Not yet, at least. We're not there.
No, not there yet.
No,
we'll get there.
Indeed. But guys, that is available for you on LearnRx. So make sure you go check out that link, enjoy that education, and we'll be back shortly with another episode.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.